complete for
Hi guys, Scuba Pete here. Now as we kick off 2021, if you were to ask me what's on the top of my want list, my holy grail, well, I'm gonna say it's the Defiant. Next to this bad boy behind me, it's the largest playset G.I. Joe had. Well, my good buddy Jeff has been restoring one, and we've struck a deal. So that Defiant is gonna be coming here from Idaho to Indiana. And we thought that we would film the whole process. So we hope you enjoyed.
Hi everybody, my name's Jeff. I am, as you can see, a Defiant owner. Well, it was never supposed to be that way. I am a Joe collector, Star Wars collector, odds and ends collector of many things. But when it comes to Joes, G.I. Joes, I have a tendency to focus on the 82 through 86 era of Joes before it started getting a little crazy. So about a year ago, I kind of got back into G.I. Joes and have been collecting pretty heavily ever since then. So about 5 or 6 months ago, I was at a pawn shop actually. There was a few things in there. There was actually a USS Flag, a Terrordrome, this thing, and a Mauler, a couple other odds and ends stuff, no figures, but a few other, and there was an X-30 Conquest, different things like that. Went in there off and on for a few months and slowly watched that collection be sold off. The Flag went away pretty quick. Someone picked that up. I bought the Mauler. The Terrordrome I think is still there, pretty beat up. But this thing was always there and always caught my eye. And I always wanted one of these. Never saw one in the wild, never saw one in stores that I can remember. After multiple times in there staring at it like you're staring at a piece of fruit in a refrigerator or something, you're like, okay, I better have that eventually. So I decided to pull the trigger on it, bought it, wrestled it home. Surprised nothing broke on the way home. It's a pretty fragile beast, as most of you know. Got it home, started doing some cleanup to it, and you know, after doing an initial assessment at the store before I bought it, I realized this thing's in really good shape. It is fairly complete. It was missing a few little parts, and there's some tabs on some things that were broken, as you can kind of see on that one there. It was the main thing was the little gear that makes this rise up was broken, as most of them I think these days are. It was missing some stickers on the shuttles, on the shuttle here, and then the launch complex guy here, or the booster, whatever we're calling it these days. So yeah, it's got some work that needed to be done to it. I did a lot of cleanup, a lot of sticker residue removal on it, and I sourced a bunch of parts. And so right now it's almost complete. There's a few things missing. I did also source, and I forgot to grab these out before we started, the figures. And so found him at a fairly good price, and that was hardtop and payload. And so missing the jetpack, the backpack, that kind of thing on this guy. So because I don't collect the toys from this time period, there was always a part of me in the back of my mind thinking I'll probably sell this eventually. So that brings in Scuba Pete. Scuba is become a friend and has dropped some hints over some of the videos I've seen him in that he would love to have a Defiant. And so one of the, a little while ago, I decided, hey, I better see if he would like to buy this. So I kind of we were chatting, and I kind of dropped a hint to him saying, hey, I know you want a Defiant, what about mine? And he jumped on the prospect of it. So that brings us to this video. And the video, what we want to do is, you've always seen a lot of unboxing videos. I don't know if you've seen a lot of boxing videos. And so we're going to try to do a unboxing, because the nature of this guy and the fragility of the whole thing, I think, is it's going to be a little scary to get him sent and get him there all in one piece. So that's the goal of this whole endeavor, is to get him to Pete in one place across country. Pete's in the middle part of the country. I am on the West Coast area, Pacific Northwest, Idaho to be exact, and he's in Indiana area. So yeah, this thing's going to be a beast to take down and to package up, and a bit of an engineering issue on trying to get these things together. So as most of you guys probably know, the Defiant is three main vehicles. There's the gantry, the launcher, and the shuttle. So we're gonna have to tear each one down, pack each up separately. All of these little guys here, all these little things here that snap, crackle, and pop are gonna have to come off and packaged up also separately. And then also we're gonna have to figure out a way to engineer the packaging so it supports. The biggie is this guy, making sure that, I'm not sure if we're gonna have to take this off. I hate to do that because this rod that holds that in there, the hinge, is fragile, and I don't want to have Pete try to put that together and break some plastic. So we're gonna have to build a cardboard support system that is gonna hold this and make it so it doesn't break. And so yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So that's what you're gonna see here in the next bit, and we'll go from there. So hopefully you enjoy this. So stick around. Thanks, everyone. Gonna try to get a few different angles here as it's buttoned up before I start tearing it down. But yeah, she's pretty complete, except for the stickers are missing on a few things, mostly the shuttles. But yeah, you can see that all the little bits and pieces that make this thing so dang cool are there. Little guns where the tabs break off so easily. The base I built for it, you can kind of see underneath there, keeps it so it doesn't have the weight on the wheels. This little guy inside is amazing. The periscope. You can kind of see there, which I think a lot of people don't realize it's there. And the detail inside there is amazing too. The dash. So you got multiple cockpits that they control things from, as on here. So there's places everywhere for people, either chairs, or I won't even talk about how many pegs there are to mount people in, especially once we start getting into inside. The frontal view, such a cool view. Its own weight is pretty impressive. Again, you can see all the pegs in there. So again, saying the weight is pretty impressive on this thing. So I don't have it fully opened a lot. The weight on the blue doors on the gantry stuff is fairly substantial, and I'm afraid over time that plastic's going to get brittle and will snap. One of the things that's always an issue and kind of a weird design element are these little missile launchers. They kind of rotate around and they snap off fairly easy. So those are a tough one to find in good shape. On top here, all the amazing detail, which I'm sure people have seen a lot before. You can see some of the stickers on this guy. This is one of the ones that may need to be resourced. There's a lot of stickers that are missing on the shuttles, and there's a few on the gantry that need to be redone. But for the most part, it's about as clean as you can expect for something this old. I haven't done a ton of cleanup on the dust part to this top, so you can see there's a lot of dust on this thing still. I did kind of a cursory wipe on it, but other than that, it hasn't had the whole treatment that I'm sure Pete will do to it. A little bit of yellowing on this one. Right here, you can kind of see on the lid, the the cockpit. I actually didn't think I missed a piece when I was cleaning up all the residue from the stickers that had fallen off. I missed that one right there. Something for Pete again to have fun with. This guy here, that thing pops off way too easily. All the pegs are there and all the tabs, but it's a little fragile. Yep, again, they did foot pegs everywhere on this guy, where you least expect it. This thing could have Joes, 100 Joes on it, if not more, and probably still have some pegs left over. So the back of it is where I kind of have a few little issues still. Again, like I said, I'm missing the seat. We've got the gun, but the seat is missing, which that one's been kind of tough to find for a decent price, so haven't got that one yet. The crank, got a little issue there. Not sure what happened there. It's like a little bit of a heat issue, and it's kind of warped. That is the main issue of this thing. That does not lift, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pick that up and show you guys, because it's a monster, and I don't want to put stress on the plastic to pick that up. But underneath, everything is there. The only thing that's missing is one of the springs. There's 2 springs that hold the gears and the latches underneath there. One of the springs is broken off, and the post that holds that spring is broken. And then there's a little, almost like a little Archimedes screw, that piece of plastic attached to this metal rod, that when you rotate this, that's what's supposed to pick up the whole gantry. That is missing also. I think that's going to be fairly easy to source, but I'm not sure. So yeah, one thing also I didn't talk about is there is a base I built for this thing, a wooden base with dolly wheels. You can kind of see one in there. So that's going to have to go also. So yeah, as we get going on this, you'll see more and more of this thing as it comes apart. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we're gonna do a little start on the teardown here. First off, we're gonna start just taking off some of the main pieces. So as you can see, the dolly base allows me to roll it around a little bit, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna get some things out of the way, because once this thing opens up, it's a bit on the mammoth side. So here we go. Actually, first, and I always do that, I've got too much stuff here. We're gonna raise it up, and it makes a horrible noise. Pete, you might want to put a little bit of grease on those wheels in this track right here, because it's a little squeaky and catchy. Love the detail underneath there. The detail on this whole thing all over the place is just awesome. It's even got the little gun underneath there. So let's turn it around. And let's, actually I think I'm gonna show you some of the inside. Well, you guys have all seen that. So let's just get started here. First off, let's take these guys off. And they just slide out. And what in the heck is it? Okay, yeah, they just pop out. Scare me. Try not to break anything as I do this, because that's not gonna help. So as you open it up, you can kind of see the mammoth wingspan that is this thing, and it's pretty awesome. So got a lot of elevator stuff in here. These guys come down here, and then they pop off. Yeah, I'm just so afraid of just grabbing stuff and start pulling it. It's gonna be a little tough. So let's get rid of this stuff first. these vehicles. Okay, and this guy comes out pretty easily, as you can see, and of course I'm missing the seat, so he's not even attached. The blast doors come open. Those are pretty cool. And I'm not sure if that stuff comes off. I still have to kind of engineer how I'm going to package this up a little bit, so some of this is not going to come out. And I'm thinking these guys, the little elevator stuff here, might just stay on, because once I get it all packed in and padded, I don't think that's going to be an issue. The big issue is their own weight on these doors is what I worry about. So we're going to get rid of, well, let's see here. Okay, we're going to leave the posts in there, but just take the guns off, because what happens a lot of time is the posts themselves up there, they snap. Fairly easy to source and replace, but still a pain in the butt. Okay, so that's all ready to go except for this guy. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave him too. I just want to be careful about the fragility and everything. Actually, he comes off straight down. There we go. Okay, red guns are off of the gantry part, except for down here. Get those off. And this guy here. First off, I'm going to actually lay this back down now. And what happens a lot of times, you got to be careful of when you lay this back down and you're doing it by hand. If you don't grab it up here, once it hits a tipping point, that weight takes over and it'll fall. So you got to be careful on that. And we'll close those back up. That comes off easy enough. And the guns on the front are the same guns as the back, so that helps. Let's take that seat off. And let's rotate around here to this guy. This one's missing one tab, so it actually comes off fairly easy. You can kind of see missing a bit of a tab there. So it lays on there easy and it clicks in okay, but if that's an issue, then we might need to have that replaced. Now, the sides, these side walkways, these guys pop off pretty easily. I say that now, and of course it's not going to pop off easy. There we go. So I want to take those off for shipment. Yeah, right to here. And there we go. This guy here was missing when I bought this, and so I had to source that. So those walkways come off easy enough, because I just don't want them to, the posts that hold them will break off pretty easily, so I want to make sure they don't do that. Let's do it around here and do this other one. So that one does the same thing. I'm going to leave the gun on that one because it doesn't want to come off very easily also. Again, it's all about the tabs. The front, I said before, this guy here, he comes off as just a little bit of lift up, so a lot of people end up using him as a lift point, and it shouldn't be, because it'll break. And because you can see this one actually has two pieces kind of broken there. It pops on fine and stays there okay, but it definitely, I think someone's used that as a lift point before and causes the issues. Now, the doors here, they just pop up like that. And nothing really inside there loose that we need to worry about for shipping. Again, this is all about shipping and making sure that you got to think through the engineering of the shipping container, and you know, what can this thing take once it's in that container? Is someone going to take it and huck it onto a truck? Probably. So it's got to be able to take that, and that's kind of the criteria. Is once we put this together and get this in a container, what can it take? And again, these things are so heavy and they're fragile that I think any sort of twisting motion on this would be an issue. So again, I'm still debating on whether to take this long metal rod that runs right here. I'm still debating on whether to take that out and take these doors off and package them up separately. And I might need to do a little bit of experimenting and see if that actually is a thing we can do. So other than that, I don't think I want to try to take the actual gantry off. Again, I might look into that and we'll see. I'm just exploring this as we go. So you can kind of see there, you know, if we take that off, then those hook in. And again, if we try to wrench those out and take those off, I'm just afraid these tabs here and here will break. They've already got some stress marking to them, some discolorization from where over the years they've kind of bore the brunt of this thing. So yeah, I think we're going to leave those as is and try to package the gantry as a whole, with the possibility of these guys being taken off. And you can kind of see that's another thing. This thing has to rest and be okay. Again, it's the twisting stresses on that I want to try to mitigate so that you don't get crackage, you don't get breakage, and it also helps on the stress marks. So that's kind of where we're at. Next off, we'll move to the shuttles and start taking those apart. Okay, we're going to try one more thing here real quick. I am going to lift this up, and I kind of want to show you guys the dolly that I put together. And if we can, I want to show you the underside to see if, I want to show you the kind of the issues that still needs to be addressed underneath in order to make the gantry lift work. We'll see if this actually works with me doing this. I don't know if it will. Nope, she's gonna open. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, people. But you can see the gantry, or the dolly, and that's just what it is, just a piece of plywood with some wheels underneath and some padding glued down on there, and it's been doing great. But I think we're gonna, leave that as is. And move that over, there we go. Get it centered, and okay, experimentation time is done. We're not gonna be doing that anymore. She shall stay flat and vertical the way it was meant to be versus trying to flip it over. So yeah, next phase. I think you can see that last part of moving the gantry didn't quite work out at the end there. It's pretty well broken down to where its constituent parts I think is going to be okay to box up. And then we'll try to figure out the boxing itself of the gantry and the engineering I need to do to make that thing work. So, to the shuttles and to the lifter. I just call it lifter. It's not. It's a space station, whatever it is. First off, let's start taking this apart. And you can see the connection here is really good shape. Just an easy click, and then just comes off really easy. And the wheels underneath, where are the wheels? There we go. Sorry, I always get them mixed up. No wheels there. But yeah, this guy still works great. Still has all the pieces, parts. I'm going to take the camera down and show you guys a little bit of the internal stuff of this thing to show you how good a condition it actually is. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of this one. I actually looked it up. Booster space station. So that's what this guy is. You can see she's fully formed there. And again, like I said before, a little bit of cleanup, but holy cow, look at the foot pegs in this thing. We're gonna, not much to take apart on him, except for these back guys here. We're gonna, and they just pop off. The bad, not bad, but the thing you gotta remember when you put them back on is they do have a certain sequence. These outer ones are the same and same size. And then, you know, the bigger one here, you just gotta make sure that they are, you know, in sequence when you put them back on. So pretty easy. We'll put this back down. I think I'm gonna leave everything in here as is, and when I pack it up, I'm gonna fill this area with packing material so that it doesn't bounce around, and it gives a little bit of inside stability to stuff. So, and one thing that's always missing from these guys is this little cover. I'm gonna take him off and leave him out. And then these little guys, they're the fun ones. Not Funyuns, fun ones. As well as this. It's a weird engineering thing because it doesn't fit right. So you've gotta move this. Yeah, I gotta get that, there we go. Okay, so those just pop off. When you pop them off, you want to do them straight out. Don't wrench on the ball on those at all, because that little ball has a tendency to want to snap quite easily. I think I'm going to leave the doors in there. And these two panels here are the same thing. A lot of times those are missing and you have to source those, which can be troublesome. And there we go. So let's pop him off. And I might actually put a little bit of trim tape, blue trim tape on that, so to hold those so they don't move around a lot. When I bought this one was already in here, okay, no problem. This one was not here, I had to source it, and when I popped that in, I really had to push hard to get those things to pop in. So they're in there great. The bad thing is that they're so tight that any sort of stress on this will make it so that there is no give and it'll just snap. So the give will be on the actual structure versus actually the ball socket popping out. Not the best way to do it. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to have to figure out a way to encapsulate that and isolate any movement of that guy. So, but I think the booster is pretty well apart. Actually, let's put that guy back on there. I think I'm just going to leave the panels all on there. So let's set him aside. And the shuttle. So same kind of thing as the booster. It's got the little nozzles, and those again they should just pop off. Yep, that one does. And the booster and the shuttle nozzles, the big ones, are interchangeable. I don't want to wrench on those too much. Those are in there pretty solid, so I think I'm going to leave those there. Now the wings, the little winglets here on the back, those come off pretty easily because I've had it done a couple times on accident when my dog comes running in here and it accidentally hits things because he's a klutz. So those just pop out, kind of like what, you know, you see that a lot with that tab system. They kind of use that a lot on, you know, if you're familiar with restoring a Sky Striker or something like that, you can kind of see that. This one, again, I think it might have been, you can kind of see the black paint. I think that might have been a Defiant or a Crusader center wing instead of a Defiant one that someone has painted, which is fine. So now the tricky thing on this guy is the doors. So when I bought this, the doors were one side was great, and they have a twisting motion when they open it, breaks the tabs off of them pretty easily. So you got to open them up both hands like that. And I've actually, the other side was in good shape. One of these sides was bad, and I used the old, watching the Retro Blasting Restore the Defiant had a great tip on how to drill out and buy some plastic, like little dowel rods, and cut them off, trim them up, slide them into the hole, reseat them in there, and they work perfect. That's what I had to do on this one here. So this guy internally is in great shape. Everything is here. The gantry, or the arm, mechanical arm, as well as the airlock. The airlock hatch, which is hard to find if you miss that one. But since everything is so buttoned up on this thing now, I don't think I'm going to try to take these doors off. I think they're gonna ride like that. And again, I think what's going to happen is blue paint trim tape is going to become my best friend by keeping these things in here so they don't rattle around and move around. Inside the cockpit, the little holder inners for the guys, I don't know what they're called, the little lever arms for the control areas that they have are really cool, and those are all there. Another issue that has a tendency for those things to be missing when you buy one of these. 3 places for people to sit inside there, and the nose cone is something that sometimes is missing. This shuttle has the arm that instead of having hinges that just go like that, it's got it actually raised, which I think is really cool. And it works great, it's smooth. Like I said, overall this Defiant was in remarkable shape, except for, as you can see, missing all the stickers. I actually kind of like it clean, it looks really cool. But some of those stickers, those big bold ones that they have for these things, are really nice too. So I think that thing's ready to go too. Now, pieces, parts. So I wanted to show the landing gear of this thing. It works great. Comes in and out. And also, I forgot to tell everybody about these guys. These little side guns. Those are all there. And of course they fall apart when you open them, but they're there and they work. But I wanted to show everything that came off of everything and how she's ready to be packaged up. All the bits and pieces, partses. And of course, got to add in the figures. Yeah, I think we're set. We're set with all this. Okay.
Hello toy fans! I hope you enjoyed our little mini-series. This was part 1 from Defiant on the Move. And where there's a part 1, there will be a part 2 coming up pretty soon. For now, thanks for watching, stay safe, and hope to see you back on Chasing 80s Toys. See you on the next one!